Chapter 57:25. Are you in the Four Tribulations realm? The black-robed old man dared not believe that he can see that Jian Wushuang does not have a universe, but he can burst out an aura that is so much stronger than him. This shows that the other party may be a powerhouse of the Four Tribulations realm. There is only this possibility that he would never have thought until his death that Jian Wushuang was an emperor, so he did not master the universe. Surrounded by blue electric arcs, Jian Wushuang stretched out a finger. If it wasn't for me having something important to do, you wouldn't be worthy of letting me use all of my strength. This is not to scare the other party. He normally relies on the power of the beast god. He can, with a burst of 200,000 divine power, coupled with a strong life force. It was easy to hang a three tribulation realm. It's a pity that he is now a clone. Moreover, he also wanted to attract the powerhouses of the ancient wood sect, so he exploded his full strength. Go to hell. Jian Wushuang gathered qi with one hand, a blue divine sword appeared in his hand, and the power of killing filled the sky. The black-robed powerhouse widened his eyes, and at this moment he saw the origin of Jian Wushuang. 6,000 black holes, and a cosmic mystery shone brightly. The power of the source beyond his imagination, attacked and killed in an instant. In the ancient moontime and space where divine power dominates, 1,000 black holes are the masters of the universe. In other words, the origin of Jian Wushuang is 6 times that of the ordinary master of the universe. Of course, this is not considered combat power. His origin is 6 times that of those ordinary universe masters, but his divine power is much worse. After all, the opponent is divine, the source is just to improve the realm. Divine power is the main thing, and it is about power breaking all laws. Unfortunately, no one can do it. Even Jian Wushuang doesn't believe this. That black-robed strong man before the fall, the information of Jian Wushuang was passed to the interior of the eternal family. The Lord of the Universe of the Four Tribulations realm. Hearing the news, the powerhouses of the Eternal Clan were very surprised. Regardless of why a cosmos master of the Four Tribulations realm suddenly appeared, he just said the identity of the other party. A strong man sent by Barbady, in the ancient hall, a lord of the Five Tribulations realm universe, was furious. His hand is too long. Obviously he really believed it. In fact, there is not much connection between the Eternal Family and Baby Di. The two are not a cooperative relationship, nor a relationship between superiors and subordinates. More like the same kind that I originally wanted to help out. But after finding that the other party not only did not appreciate it, but also complained about them, they ignored it. If Jian Wushuang knew about it, he would probably laugh out loud. He was also worried that the Eternals would inform Baby Di. Now it seems that the two have no connection. Master, what do you do next? Outside the ancient hall, there stood an old servant in black robes, a robbery powerhouse of the Five Tribulations realm. After pondering for a moment, the Cosmos Master in the main hall said coldly, "Let the people of the Gumu sect go in, just to teach Baby Di some lessons. Let him understand that this is the eternal kingdom, not the filthy place of the outer domain." Earth. Yes. The black-robed old servant respectfully took orders. On the other side, the strong man of the ancient wood sect was sitting uneasy in a banquet. They came to find clues about the power of death, but they were forced to drink by a master of the universe of the Four Tribulations of the Eternal Family. But this face has to be given. After all, it is the opponent's chassis. As the saying goes, a strong dragon does not overwhelm the snake. What's more, the other party also promised to help them to inquire about the news, and it is not easy for them to leave with a cold face, just have to wait. But banquets also have an end. They don't believe it, it will go on forever. Brother Qingtian, I just received the news that the two you are looking for are in the rioting Xinghai in your own country. The man in the blue shirt burst into joy upon hearing this. He thought that the Eternal Kingdom was going to make things difficult for them, but he didn't expect them to be found. Since that's the case, I won't bother you here. Qingtian Taoist clasped his fists slightly and greeted everyone to prepare to set off. Brother Qingtian is too polite, the visitor is a guest, let me know anytime if you need help. Definitely. Daoist Qingtian did not dare to delay, and left directly with people. He himself is the master of the universe of the Four Tribulations realm, with 2 robbery powerhouses of the Four Tribulations realm, and 4 masters of the universe of the Three Tribulations realm. The 4 cosmos masters of the Three Tribulations realm are all newly promoted Tianjiao of the Gumu sect, and their strength is not weak. The 2 robbery powerhouses of the Four Tribulations realm possessed a divine power of over 300,000. As for his own combat power, it is even more terrifying. the Lord of the Universe at the peak of the Four Tribulations realm, a super strong person who is not far from the half-step Five Tribulations realm. His divine power has reached an unimaginable level. His breath enveloped everyone, and the speed was extremely fast. It only took an hour to reach the riotous Xinghai. That is the only unstable area in the Eternal Kingdom. Wild beasts are rampant, and demons are everywhere, but for them, these are not obstacles. On the other side, after Zhen Wushuang killed the dead soldier in black robe, he found the breath left on the two of Sang Biao and followed them all the way. The speed of the two of them is not slow. In order not to waste the power of the starry sky, Zhen Wushuang can only fly slowly, and he can catch up, so as not to lose while chasing. He also left some breath on his body, so that the strong men of the ancient wood sect could follow soon. He felt the breath of the two men has entered the riot star sea. It's actually here. When Zhen Wushuang felt the chaotic atmosphere in the riotous Xinghai, his complexion changed slightly, and he also understood why Baby Di was hiding here. It is too difficult to find the breath of practitioners here. Fortunately, the breath left by Zhen Wushuang is very special. It is the power of the starry sky. Others couldn't notice it at all, only he could feel the breath. Otherwise it will be lost. I don't know if the people from the Gumu sect are following. Zhen Wushuang was still worried about the people from the Gumu sect. He is afraid that these people are too stupid. If he can't keep up, even if he finds Baby Di, he will not be able to solve the other party, nor will he find the source of the power of death from the other party, so he needs help from outside. Daoist Qingtian of Gumu sect, but Zhao Zhen Wushuang entered the riotous Xinghai in one step. But the atmosphere here is messy, and they are like headless flies, searching everywhere. Well, it has the breath of an emperor. Qingtian Taoist stopped on a huge reef. SonicMTL.com felt a breath from the emperor. He raised his brows and greeted everyone to surround him from all sides so as not to let the other party run away. Zhen Wushuang kept a distance from Sang Biao and the others, so he flew very slowly. This time, I also felt a few breaths coming, and I understood it instantly. This time, he was careless. In order to leave clues to the people of Gumu sect, he did not hide himself. Asa result, the people from Gumu sect came too fast. Surround him. Boy, you'd better not resist. A Cosmos master of the Three Tribulations realm of Gumu sect found out that Zhen Wushuang was only a slightly stronger emperor, so he was very relaxed and did not have any defenses, so he went straight to grab the sword unparalleled. Chapter 57-26. This kind of nepotism can be completely trusted by fighting the secret realm together. It is much stronger than an old fox like Wu Li. Every good helper is worthy of their best efforts to win over them. Wu Li also saw that Zhen Wushuang's aura was much stronger, but didn't say much. For him, the stronger Zhen Wushuang, the better. At the same time, he didn't worry that Zhen Wushuang would turn back. His chassis is also not simple. Elder Mu Chen is praised, it's just a slight breakthrough. Zhen Wushuang shook his head modestly, and the aura on his body began to shrink like a black hole, until the whole figure looked like nothingness, which could only be seen with the naked eye. The power of mind is not perceivable. Of course, this is also the strength of Wu Li and Mu Chen. If he were the lord of the Five Tribulations realm universe, he would naturally be able to feel Zhen Wushuang's existence. Seeing Zhen Wushuang's breath disappear, the two were also a little surprised, but their personal strengths were very sensitive, so naturally they wouldn't ask much. Sit down and talk, none of them are outsiders. Wu Li saw Zhen Wushuang a little uneasy about standing, so he asked Zhen Wushuang to sit down and talk. Mu Chen also nodded and said, "Yeah, we will soon be a family. The palace just prepared for you and Jin Chen has been built. You can move in a few days." Where Zhen Wushuang was sitting, he could only nod frequently. "Wushuang nephew, I think you are a little restrained. Isn't it because you haven't married before?" Elder Mu Chen asked curiously. If this kind of thing is in the ordinary, it will definitely not be said. But everyone is a cultivator, and all have become emperors of the tribulation realm. There is nothing bad to say. Who did not marry a few Taoists in the mundane period? But when I think of some family children, they are still teenagers in ordinary times, and they will be able to become Taoists in 10,000 years. Zhen Wushuang also had some sympathy for the children of those big families. None of them have experienced the red trials of the mundane world. Hearing Elder Mu Chen's question, he thought of what he used to be. The days of struggling in the mundane world. Juvenile sword pavilion era. He experienced the warmth and coldness of human relations, and he asked the sword wholeheartedly. At that time, he was full of spirits, and he broke things that he couldn't understand with a single sword. How chic. Green fire realm, divine power universe. On every journey, he is fearless. The original partner, brother, and Taoist couple. Now I don't know how. They are far away from Darciu. Emperors are hard to find. But now in the long river of time and space, there are two major overlords. Temple of Qi, Temple of Destruction. I don't know if that piece of pure land will be broken. I haven't gone back for some days. But he still remembered, not forgotten. I even often remember the bits and pieces of the time. Longing for the beginning. But he had to go forward again. Go out of your own way. Let's go to see the wind and the snow and the moon. Suddenly looking back, Jian Wushuang had already become the strongest emperor, and he was about to win the tribulation realm soon. Looking back at the past, looking at the path I have walked. All the tribulations are nothing more than just adding cold snow. Wife. Thinking of this, a figure appeared in Jian Wushuang's mind. Cold as frost. That was his Jian Wushuang's wife, how could he ever forget? Both Elder Mu Chen and Wu Li could see the reminiscence in Jian Wushuang's eyes. The gossip flames in the two people's hearts rose, and they couldn't help but want to listen. Especially Wu Li, he has not figured out the identity of Jian Wushuang, more like knowing where Jian Wushuang came from. Is it 9 heavens and 10 places, or the other 9 great time and space? He never thought that Jian Wushuang would come from the last travel time and space. No one would believe that such a powerful emperor would appear in the last travel time and space. After Jian Wushuang reminisced, seeing the two staring at him curiously, he quickly explained, before there were only some beauties, but they haven't been married. That's a shame. Elder Mu Chen patted his thigh, seemingly unbelieving. At this time, Wu Li hurriedly rounded the stage, changed the subject, and talked about some recent events. It was about the sacred meeting. Jian Wushuang also listened carefully. There are no faults. Listening to Wu Li's meaning, this time the sacred meeting will not only select candidates for the saint, but will also attract a group of strong people into the Gumu sect. Jian Wushuang didn't understand it when he heard this. Since he wanted to attract the strong to join the Gumu sect, why didn't he recruit it directly? Participants in the sacred congregation are some strong family members. What good is it for absorbing these people? Being in Jiu Mu, and in the family. Raise a group of vampires. It is better to search for those who have great potential for casual repairs. Only when such people are cultivated will they have a sense of belonging. Elder Mu Chen also understood this meaning, and was also a little confused. Of course, I only heard that some people say that Jiu God Church recruited peripheral members during the holy meeting. Just listen to this kind of thing, don't take it seriously. Wu Li said haha. Ancient Moon God Sect. That is the only 9-star sect. Even if it is just rumors, it will provoke a lot of people. Guyue sect, a peripheral member that has been absorbed. The weakest is the Lord of the Universe. The dispersal realm is not qualified at all. Even the dispersal of the 8 tribulations realm would not absorb it. Because within the ancient Moon God sect, the most indispensable is the 8 tribulations realm powerhouse. With the accumulation of countless ages, there are too many 8 tribulations realm experts of the ancient Moon God sect. But the master of the universe in the 8th stage realm is scarce. There is only one. There will be one in almost every era. Otherwise, it would be difficult for the ancient moon gods to convince the crowd. With the superpower of the 8 tribulations realm universe, who doesn't want to enter? Even the peripheral members can walk sideways in 9 days and 10 places. That's why a lot of people are shaking. This time the quota of the congregation was also copied to a very high level. Wu Li said that this incident was because of regret in my heart. The thigh is almost broken. If he shoots now, he can earn several times more. It's cheaper for others. The qualification token he sold was sold to a 4 tribulations realm universe master. The promised request is still counted. It means that Wu Li has an additional ally in the 4 tribulations realm. It's not too bad to come. The three chatted for a while, and Wu Li saw that Elder Mu Chen had come here. Of course, he didn't come to him, so he took the initiative to retire, leaving Zhen Wushuang and Mu Chen to chat alone. Elder Mu Chen confided the truth after Wu Li left. He was hesitant at first, but after seeing Zhen Wushuang's aura stronger again, he was relieved. I've been chatting until now, only to tell the truth about my visit this time. After Zhen Wushuang listened, his brows opened up. He thought it was a big deal. It turned out that it was Princess Jinshan's eldest brother, his future eldest brother-in-law, who wanted to learn from him. This thing is easy to handle. But the Lord of the Universe? Zhen Wushuang asked about the opponent's strength. Elder Mu Chen waved his hand and said, "It's not that strong. If it were the Lord of the Universe, I wouldn't come to you anymore. It's not bullying." Chapter 57:27. That's easy, I can accompany you at any time. Zhen Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief. If he is the Lord of the Universe, there will be some trouble, and he needs to expose his strength. It is very simple if it is not the Lord of the Universe, and pure divine power can crush the opponent. This time he returned from the ancient wood sect and he has become the Three Tribulations realm, and he is very close to mastering the universe. You should be careful, Elder Mu Chen reminded. By the way, there are a few others with him. The Tianjiao of the ancient wood school, remember not to offend, otherwise it will be against us during the holy meeting. Zhen Wushuang didn't answer, but just nodded slightly. As long as you don't sin against him, everything is easy to say. But that eldest brother-in-law, how could he have to ask him to fight? Could he know Shiju and miss his brother-in-law? The corners of Zhen Wushuang's mouth rose up, making him amused. It's all in the tribulation state, and I don't want to go to the tribulation, but take care of this boring thing. His marriage with Jin Chen is a foregone conclusion. Not a prince can block it. After talking about this matter, Elder Mu Chen said some more about the rules of the wedding in a few days, and then left. Zhen Wushuang got up to see him off, but was declined by the other party. As soon as Elder Mu Chen walked away, Wu Li appeared. It seems that you big brother-in-law, it's not easy to get it done. Wu Li folded his hands on his chest, frowned slightly, and turned his eyes to the distant sky and said, "Come on." Zhen Wushuang followed his gaze together. In the sky, three figures appeared. Two masters of the universe in the Three Tribulations realm, and one in the Three Tribulations realm who has not yet mastered the universe. The strength is not even counted. These people can also be regarded as the proud children of the ancient wood school. His age was only a few hundred epochs older than Zhen Wushuang, but his realm had reached the Lord of the Universe. It is indeed the proud son of heaven. The ones who come are not good, the ones who are good don't come. Zhen Wushuang smiled on his face, he didn't care. But Wu Li was a little awkward in his heart. Entering his Wu mansion without going through the door, the three of them were the first to dare to do so. Fly in directly, without giving him any face. You are Zhen Wushuang. The golden-armored man headed by the three, with a firm complexion, looked at Zhen Wushuang with a lofty posture. Zhen Wushuang was very upset with this feeling, and his face sank a little, and he said calmly, "It's your Royal Highness, since it's here, let's talk about it as follows. I don't think it's necessary. Such a small yard is not enough to stretch your feet." The big prince didn't even look at Wu Li. This made Wu Li, who valued face very much, a little angry, and wanted to take action to teach the three of them. Really want to shoot, these three people together are not his opponents. Especially the great prince, who had just successfully crossed the tribulation and had not yet mastered the universe, he dared to be so arrogant. If you become the master of the universe, don't you have to open your eyes to the top of your head? His Royal Highness, if you think the yard is small, I can expand it specifically for you. Wu Li continued, waving a single hand, bursting out a powerful divine power, and directly flattening half of Wu's mansion. This powerful force broke out, but it was extremely restrained. As a result, most of the Wu mansion was destroyed, and the outside world did not feel the fluctuation of divine power. This scene caused all three of them to shrink their eyes. Wu Li raised his other hand and swept across the other intact mansion. Enough now. Wu Li gritted his teeth. Zhen Wushuang was astounded. The whole Wu mansion was flat. Where do they live at night? A few days later, it was his wedding day, but Wu mansion was razed to the ground at this time. Wouldn't it be even more embarrassing to spread this out? The prince frowned. He didn't expect Wu Li to be so hard-hearted. And the strength is so strong, beyond his expectations. It seems that he even has the idea of shooting him, so it's better not to anger him. The two Gumu sect masters of the universe next to them were a little curious about Wu Li's strength, and asked, "Junior brother Lu Chen, is this person Wu Li, a well-known strongman among the masters of the universe who has crossed the three tribulations realm?" "Yes, he is Wu Li, and the ancestor of the Wu family, one of the top 10 families in the Yu country. His strength is half a step and 4 calamities." The eldest prince Lu Chen responded indifferently. When Wu Li saw them talking about their title, a smile leaked from the corner of his mouth. Even if it is to provoke him, it is enough to recognize his strength. He hummed coldly in his heart. After opening Wanliu Mingzhen ancient wood continent, let alone a little Yu kingdom prince, the female emperor of Yu kingdom had to be polite. Everything still speaks for strength. The three slowly landed. Both sides watched. "Senior Wu Li, you are so kind." Lu Chen glanced around. This time it was really spacious. Jian Wushuang was worried about where they would live at night. "It's not good to be too angry." Wu Li sneered after hearing what the eldest prince said. "Of course he has to be polite when he comes to the humble house, otherwise it will be said. If that's the case, then I'm not welcome." Lu Chen's expression sank before turning to look at Jian Wushuang. He didn't recognize this brother-in-law. Not because Jin Chen didn't like it. But Jian Wushuang's background is too weak. The Gumu school is a place where he speaks about his birthplace, and his cultivation over the years has made him understand that birthplace is very important. As for the fear of drawing wolves into the clan, he disdains. Stone country is so powerful, how could it be greedy for a small Yu country? If Lu Chen's thoughts were known to the ancestors of the clan, he would definitely be so angry that he would crawl out of the sarcophagus. Regardless of any forces, they are all from the weak. Why do you want to belittle yourself? Shi Guo is indeed from a good background, but it doesn't matter where he is. It is also a normal precaution to be greedy for the country. How powerful is Shi Guo's ambition? Outsiders only see its dominance and strength. But he didn't see Shi Guo's greed for neighboring countries. Wild ambition. Undoubtedly revealed. Had it not been for the Gumu faction, the 16 kingdoms would have long since become the family of Shi Guo. The founding ancestor of Shi Kingdom was a realm of 8 tribulations. The flame who guards the Stone Kingdom is a super strong who is not weak as the master of the universe of 8 tribulations. Although Jiyu Mu sect has several ancestors in the 8 tribulations realm, it is not enough for the flame god to fight it alone. That's why Shi Guo dared to take advantage of this arrogance. Yukanshu. Coupled with the demise of the Eternal Kingdom now, the Stone Kingdom has fewer obstacles. Among the 16 countries, ranked first is the country of Shur, who does my part. The second is the daughter country. The third Eternal Kingdom is gone. The rest of the kingdom is much weaker, and it's not at the same level at all. Not only does it have no 8 tribulations realm, but even the 7th stage realm has only 1 or 2. If the Stone country invades, it will be a complete sweep. In a country like the Yu country, if it recruits the son-in-law, the Stone clan. I'm afraid I don't know how to die. The best thing is not to get involved with Shi Guo, and to get support from the Gumu sect at that time, or sit in a boat and only serve as cannon fodder for Shi Guo. This is what the ancestors of the Yu kingdom did not want to see. Chapter 57-28. The size of the pattern is far beyond what the eldest Prince Lu Chen can imagine. It can only be said that the smell of milk is not dry, and the thinking is too simple. If you want a strong background, just be a dog for Bobby Di. No, Bobby Di doesn't like such a weak dog. The 3 tribulations realm really couldn't enter the eyes of Emperor Bobby. Jian Wushuang had an idea. He suddenly thought that he was also a member of Emperor Barbie, and his background was not weak in Shi Guo. Today, the power that Emperor Barbie has mastered, not to mention sweeping the Stone country, there is no problem in defeating it. No matter how strong the flame is, it can still pass Kai Jiuxiao. Half a step in the Nine Tribulations realm, even in the Flame God's dojo, can blow up the opponent. His Royal Highness, if you are not satisfied with you, you can do it at will. Jian Wushuang's aura remained unchanged. But as long as the opponent makes a move, he will definitely defeat Lu Chen as quickly as possible. Lu Chen didn't expect Jian Wushuang to be so tough. It's not that a family doesn't enter a family. Well, if you have this sentence, you still haven't lost your ambition, but you are only an emperor. If I use my full strength, I will provoke outsiders to laugh, so let's suppress half of your divine power and fight with you. If you can to resist a stick of incense, I can't ask any more about you and Jin Chen. Lu Chen stretched out his hand, his strength dropped rapidly. 200,000 supernatural powers. Jian Wushuang narrowed the corners of his eyes. Is this half of the special? The Lord of the Universe in the Three Tribulations realm only has a divine power of more than 200,000. In the Three Tribulations realm, he is probably at most 250,000 times divine power, and only suppressed 50,000, which can also be called half. A stick of incense. This one is simple. I'm just worried that I'm too heavy, and the other party won't be able to hold a stick of incense. Wu Li's face was gloomy, and he looked at Jian Wushuang and said, I have set up a barrier here. You can shoot at will and give me a severe lesson. He has absolute confidence in Jian Wushuang, and he exploded a Three Tribulations realm, and it was too simple for Jian Wushuang. When Shiju was defeated last time, Jian Wushuang's explosive power was already comparable to the Lord of the Three Tribulations realm universe. Now dealing with a Three Tribulations realm without mastery of the universe is the same as playing. Indeed. After Jian Wushuang heard Wu Li's words, his eyes widened and shot instantly. The breath on the body has not changed. The eldest prince Lu Chen was a little surprised. He thought Jian Wushuang would first use all his strength and then make a move. He didn't expect to be so arrogant that he would dare to make a move without breaking out of his supernatural power. Can't you see that there is a 200,000 times divine power erupting in him? But when Jian Wushuang rushed in, the rain of fists from the sky fell, and the eldest prince Lu Chen felt his arms numb and his body trembled when he responded. You hide your breath, so mean, Jian Wushuang said calmly. His Royal Highness Lu Chen can suppress strength. I can hide my breath for a while, it's not too much. Feeling full of nothingness, he was like a ghost. The other two Gumu sect masters of the universe looked a little staggering. His power is so strange that he has not missed anything, and his divine power can grasp this level. It looks like, just like what junior brother Lu Chen said, he has 200,000 times the divine power under his full strength. You see that his offense has reached the limit. Although he can hide his breath, when he fights against the Tribulation realm, this ability is considered chicken ribs. Although the two were a little surprised, they soon felt that they knew Jian Wushuang through. On the contrary, it was impossible for the eldest prince Lu Chen to defeat Jian Wushuang with 200,000 times his supernatural power. The experience of mastering supernatural power is not as good as Jian Wushuang. Under the same supernatural power, Jian Wushuang could not be defeated naturally. The blood at the corner of Lu Chen's mouth could tell that the fight just now did not hurt less. At this time, the divine power on his body continued to leak, which had exceeded 200,000 times. Jian Wushuang assumed that he hadn't seen it. Wu Li, who was watching the play, did not speak. He was willing to fight, waiting for Jian Wushuang to break out and defeat the opponent. Otherwise, reminding him now would make Lu Chen leave easily. The two masters of the universe of the Gumu school frowned. A respectable person, if he fights against the emperor, he still has to shame and lose Fengpe. It's just a family matter, and they don't have much to say. Even if it wasn't, they couldn't say it. Isn't it even more embarrassing to say it? Right way, this is what is wrong. So Jian Wushuang didn't believe in Zhengma. Just follow your own way. What if it is the way of heaven? In his own dojo, he is the way of heaven. One move made him despair. Lu Chen attacked again, losing his weight with a punch, but he didn't even hit Jian Wushuang. Turning to find Jian Wushuang's position at this time, but found that Jian Wushuang was already standing in the air. This time, Jian Wushuang was aloof. His Royal Highness can give it a try, don't be restrained. Jian Wu's double-faced color remained unchanged, standing in the air like a god. Lu Chen clenched his fists, his divine power exploded again. This time, he exerted 90% of his supernatural power. If it breaks out again, it will be a deadly battle. The supernatural power of 250,000, all scattered. Wu Li frowned and sighed inwardly. No wonder the Empress would pass her throne to her Princess Jinchen, not the eldest prince. The character is too bad. Entering the Gumu school is also because of the background, otherwise it will not be the climate. Junior brother Lu Chen, it's a bit past. Jiu Mu sect's master of the universe shook his head. It's really too much. Although Jian Wushuang has a good grasp of divine power, it is easy to defeat it. There is no need to use so much divine power. The two of them didn't fight Jian Wushuang, and they didn't know why. Only Lu Chen was sweating behind him. Even if he had used 90% of his supernatural power now, he still felt a sense of oppression when facing Jian Wushuang. It's not from divine power, but can't see through the details of the other party. And every time he strengthened his divine power, he still didn't get any head start when fighting Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang played against him, just like playing. The big prince, after the strength unfolded, once again shot. This time, directly use the pinnacle secret method and come up with the strongest trick on the bright side. Wang Yu Jie. The prince put his hands together like a bright moon. The electric arc on his body crackled, and the eruption of strength was terrifying. It definitely surpassed 250,000 times of supernatural power. This surprised the few people who watched the game. The battle continues to escalate, but they think Jian Wushuang is very ordinary. He didn't understand why Lu Chen was so anxious. Jian Wushuang stood in the air, staring at the rushing prince, without avoiding it. When the opponent was only an inch away from him, he suddenly roared. The quartet world dimmed instantly. A huge black hole appeared behind him. That is the power of 9,000 black holes, completely introverted and swallowed. The space began to shatter under his roar. Wu Li's eyes shrank, and his hands quickly pinched the tactics to stabilize the surrounding barriers. Fortunately, there is still formation blessing on Wu's house. Chapter 57-29. Otherwise, under Jian Wushuang's roar, I am afraid that half of the king will be destroyed. The legs were slightly bent. Jian Wushuang, with his fists clenched, stared at the eldest prince Lu Chen, and then roared. Even directly broke the opponent's pinnacle secret method. Mochizuki shattered. Lu Chen received a lot of backlash, his breath dropped by a large amount, and he forcibly endured the dullness in his chest, otherwise he would vomit it on Jian Wushuang's face. After defeating Lu Chen, the aura on Jian Wushuang's body was calm again. The two masters of the universe of the Gumu school saw that at this time, their expressions were not only shocked, but also doubtful. Just now from Jian Wushuang, they felt an extremely powerful atmosphere of the universe. That is the power beyond them. The universe of the two of them has gradually grown from 1,000 black holes, and now they have cultivated for such a long time, but it has only reached 1,000 or 200. In the universe, there is not even a secret realm. When I felt Jian Wushuang's strong black hole power, he must be surprised and puzzled. That power, in their view, has not completely evolved into the universe. It's a black hole. This means that Jian Wushuang is definitely an emperor. An emperor's eruption in an instant surpassed them countless times. Just a moment's time, it completely suffocated them. Isn't he only 200,000 supernatural powers? The news is wrong. Lu Chen barely suspended the void, his face pale. Can't even speak, because a mouth will definitely vomit blood. Even Jian Wushuang himself was a little surprised at the outbreak just now. Unexpectedly, I can't lift the energy. Jian Wushuang moved his neck. Maybe it was because his origin had improved too quickly, he hadn't been tempered by a great battle, so he broke out suddenly and didn't reach the peak. Originally, he planned to use the power of the beast to solve the battle. But he saw Lu Chen getting more and more unpleasant. Let the other party despair once. Break the enemy with one move. And they didn't do it. directly severely injured the eldest Prince Lu Chen. Jian Wushuang was not afraid that he would say it. People like Lu Chen love face the most. If you tell others that he was caught by an emperor, he would be seriously injured by a roar. Regardless of whether others believe it or not, he has no face to say anyway. His Royal Highness, I think that's it. Jian Wushuang slowly fell to the ground. White clothes on the body are not stained with dust. It was Lu Chen's ashamed face. Cough. Lu Chen wanted to open, but as soon as he was about to open, he coughed up a trace of blood. At this time, Wu Li hurriedly came out to make a round and said, "They are all about to become a family. I think this kind of meaningless discussion is almost the same. Today, the humble house cannot entertain the eldest prince and the people of Guizhong. Another day I will be in a fair, and I will recount the old times with His Royal Highness." Humph. Lu Chen didn't dare to open his mouth, so he could only snorted coldly. Flicking his sleeves, he immediately rose into the air. When he passed by his companion, he left without saying a word. The two Gumu sect masters of the universe received the sound transmission from the bottom of their hearts and hurriedly followed. Jian Wushuang sighed. Looking at Wu Li, he said, "What should I do next?" He glanced around. Within 100 miles, even a tree was gone. It will soon be married to Princess Jin Chen. Wouldn't it be too embarrassing to be seen by others? And the home was razed to the ground. Those who didn't know thought that they too had no abilities. They were beaten into the house, and even the house was knocked off. Small problem. Wu Li smiled and shook his head, then snapped his fingers. After a crisp sound, the space changed. Suddenly a magnificent mansion descended on the surrounding open space. There is no difference from the previous layout. Only some details have been changed. Jian Wushuang looked around, a little surprised. This is actually an energy body. Yes, it's not a pity to ruin it. As long as there is a universe crystal, you can have as much as you want. The entire king capital is actually in this layout, Wu Li explained. Jian Wushuang knew everything in his heart, and then asked, "But I didn't feel it for the first time." Haha, this kind of energy body comes from the formation, that is the formation created by the great power of the 8 tribulations realm. If you can see it, it will be weird. Wu Li snickered and laughed. But my heart sank. This kind of layout is very common throughout Guiyue time and space. How could Jian Wushuang not know? And as for the formation of the energy body, it seems that he doesn't know at all. Randomly picked a wild flower, Jian Wushuang held it in his hand and played with it, but he didn't know that his identity was once again suspected by Wu Li. After Lu Chen's trouble, Wu Mansion also began to lively. Many servants began to prepare for their wedding in 3 days. However, Jian Wushuang was happy and leisurely, walking around Wu Mansion at will, and from time to time he would only lay down people personally how to make arrangements. He looked like he was going to get married. He was married for the first time. It's also considered a cumbersome. I have always heard how unbearable the son-in-law is. Now he feels pretty good. Just practice, others will give back the resources. If this kind of good thing had been encountered by him a few years earlier, there would be no headaches in the back. He had eaten and waited to die a long time ago. However, if this were the case, he would probably not be trained by teacher Xian Yi. The original teacher Xian Yi. I'm afraid that there are no less training practitioners. He is only one of them, but he is the only super talent in the original universe to stand out. Have been walking until today. Never let the other party down. 3 days passed very slowly. For Jian Wushuang now, it was the 3 most fulfilling days he had had. In these 3 days, he has never felt relaxed. It's like giving yourself a break. Leave everything behind. Leisurely life. Follow the elder Mu Chen to visit the royal capital and drink fine wine. Fishing for arowanas on Shenlong Lake, Beishuai's fights against wild beasts. It's so fun. Unfortunately, there are only 3 days. After the wedding, he will go to Shiguo for the Excalibur embryo. After the embryo is completed, it is almost time for the holy meeting. The time of the congregation varies from person to person. Maybe soon, tens of thousands of years will be over. But this time, I am afraid it will shake several epochs. because Jian Wushuang and Wu Li's plan was to open Wanliu. By then, the two of them will become the target of public criticism. Everyone will stare at both of them. I want to get the treasures from the 10,000 willow sacred tree from them, including Gumu school. The vitality of the Shunmu king was revived, and he needed to obtain vitality suitable for the 8 tribulations realm from the Wanliu Shunmu. This kind of vitality could not be created by Jian Wushuang. Even if the current origin is very strong, the vitality of creation can revive the body of the god. But to revive the divine body, that would be too difficult. It is also difficult for him to become a robbery. Otherwise, he can sell his life and make a fortune. With his strong vitality, I am afraid that it will not take a long time to buy the entire GUU timespace. He can think about this kind of thing. Chapter 57:30. Even if he becomes the tribulation realm, when in a certain realm, he can breathe life into those scattered tribulations. Once exposed, countless tribulation realms will be swarmed. There is still trading. It is estimated that all the 8 tribulations realm powerhouses would rob him at that time. Unless there is enough strength, there will be orderly trading. But if he really wants to have that strength, why should he sell his life force? It's not better to grab those families directly. Jian Wushuang shook his head. The big wedding tomorrow. Taking advantage of the bright moon tonight, he began to paint. Draw a scene of ancient moon time and space. He draws slowly and seriously. When he returned to the temple of Chishan that day, he would also give some friends to tell about his experience in GUU time and space. This painting is a testimony. Finished. It's dawn. In the early morning of the royal capital, the sun was dazzling. In the palace above the clouds, colorful auspicious clouds fell, and a pair of luxurious welcoming teams descended on Wangju Avenue under the colorful auspicious clouds, floating all the way to the outside of Wufu Gate. On both sides of the street, whether it is ordinary or immortal emperor, they are all looking forward to the color. When we are greeted, a loud voice sounded, and Princess Jin Chen, wearing a red robe, stepped on colorful clouds and entered Wu Mansion. It's just that her complexion is a bit embarrassing. Originally wanted to let his elder brother teach Jian Wushuang a lesson, but after his elder brother came back, he ignored her. Ask and say nothing. Cross the threshold. After entering Jian Wushuang's room, her expression only eased slightly. That's the end of the matter, she has no other way. Hard ones are no good, only soft ones. You're here. Jian Wushuang was sitting in front of the bed, he was also in a red robe. From a distance, the two can be regarded as talented women. It's just that Jian Wushuang's white hair is a bit distracting. Jin Chen replied softly. Jian Wushuang was a little surprised when he saw that the other party was talking to him so peacefully. I don't know what trick this princess is playing. He has to be careful. The two looked at each other and didn't know what to say for a while. It was the first time for the eldest girl to marry. Jian Wushuang married for the first time. Jin Chen got married for the first time. After a while, Jin Chen took the initiative to speak. I heard that you have been in Outland. Are you still used to returning to your country? Fortunately, I am used to being free. As long as no one threatens me, I can get used to it everywhere. After Jian Wushuang finished, he didn't forget to add, if your Royal Highness is not used to it in the future, you can tell me at any time. Jin Chen sneered, but when he thought of asking Jian Wushuang after the big wedding, he replied softly, definitely. The two passed the time with each other. In the welcoming party outside, Mu Chen and Wu Li chatted happily. After checking the time, he was about to go to the palace with Jian Wushuang. It's good time, get up. After Jian Wushuang heard this, they walked out of the house together. There was already a circle of people outside. Each of them is a powerful person in the Yu country. Either it is Tian Jiao among the emperors. Congratulations keep coming. Jian Wushuang clasped his fists in return. When he left Wu Mansion, Wu Li stood in front of the door, tears crisscrossing, and holding Mu Chen's hand, complaining, I'm just such a nephew, brother Mu Chen, you can. Don't worry, you are all your own, and you will definitely not let Wushuang Y's nephew be wronged. Jian Wushuang was embarrassed listening to him, that is, he had a thick-skinned face. Otherwise, you must find a seam to drill in. My son-in-law, it really wasn't so good. At least be thick-skinned. Jin Chen stepped on the colorful auspicious clouds and brought Jian Wushuang into Long Hu. Following everyone's gaze, the welcoming team flew to the palace. It was the first time that Jian Wushuang took a seat in Long Hu, and he also enjoyed the luxury of the emperor. But when he looked at Long Hu, he felt a strong breath, directly surpassing the welcoming team. Several terrifying auras are all around the Six Tribulations realm. The comer is not good. Jian Wushuang looked out through the curtains. The welcoming party was blocked by a group of people. 3 people stand upright. A woman in a red robe stood in the first place, with a red mark on the center of her eyebrows. That represents the flame god. Not only the people of Shugua knew it, but the strong people of the entire Gumu continent knew it. 9 heavens and 10 earths are very loud. After all, it was a totem mark left by a special life in the 8 Tribulations realm. Except for the Lord of the Universe in the 8 Tribulations realm, the Flame God is invincible. The Lord of the Universe will become the Dispersal Tribulation because of the failure to cross the tribulation. But the Flame Gods are born without disaster. No one dared to offend this super-existence. Even the Master of the Universe in the 8 Tribulations realm did not want to offend. Once offended, you must get rid of it. Otherwise, when you fail to cross the robbery that day and get hit by someone, you will have no chance. God Hui. Jian Wushuang frowned. He hadn't heard of the relationship between the Yu royal family and the flame gods. And the other party is not good. It looks like it's not here to congratulate. On the contrary, it seems to be a smashing place. Isn't you going to grab a kiss? Jian Wushuang frowned. He was robbed, and he also robbed others. It can be said that he has experienced a lot. But this kind of thing can't let him come across every time. Jian Wushuang looked at the Princess Jin Chen, thinking that this time it was because of the other party. The flame is the patron saint of the Stone Kingdom. Jin Chen has a relationship with Shugua. It must be the cause of the other party. Jian Wushuang recognized it in his heart. Princess Jin Chen's eyes flickered, but she hoped that Shiju would bring someone to grab her. But there is no such possibility. The ancestor of the royal family has already greeted the Shi family. The matter of Shiju has been settled privately. As for the Hui, she also knows a lot. Right now, I don't know him. And looking at the breath is also an emperor. The 2 black robe elders behind him were all 6 Calamity Realm powerhouses. Divine power leaked. Full of pressure. Among the welcoming team, the strongest is nothing but Elder Mu Chen in the half-step 4 Tribulations realm. At this moment, he felt those 2 breaths of 6 Tribulations realm, and his expression sank. When he saw that woman, he turned his head and glanced at Jian Wushuang in Long Huzhong. A woman of the Hui stood in front of her. It looks like it's not because of Jin Chen, but Jian Wushuang. This time it really made him guess right. Without waiting for him to come forward and interrogate, the woman in red at the head said, "Jian Wushuang, you are so laid back." After hearing these words, there was a flame in the eyes of Elder Mu Chen. He was worried that the Shi family would make trouble. After being dealt with by the ancestors, I thought that there was no worries about the future. As a result, Jian Wushuang's trouble came up again. Princess Jin Chen in Long Hua was a little excited in her heart. If it was Jian Wushuang, wouldn't it be that she didn't need to marry Jian Wushuang? After Jian Wushuang heard these words, he panicked a little. Stand up directly. He opened the curtain and walked out of Long Hu. He was dressed in a red robe with white hair. When seeing this face, the corner of the Hu Yi's mouth rose, and she guessed it was indeed Jian Wushuang. Chapter 5731, The Power of Life Exposed. The claws directly tore the somewhat unlucky Lord of the Universe to pieces. The source was condensed, and before the physical body was recovered, the humanoid beast directly grew its mouth and spit out a mouthful of venom. Along with the venom, there was a terrifying black column of air. Qingtian couldn't take care of it anymore. Seeing that the Lord of the Universe was about to fall, he hurriedly shot, kicked it out, and kicked the alien beast directly into the wall of the cabin. The alien beast wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and his eyes were full of killing intent. After feeling that the strength of the alien beast was not too strong, Qingtian became more courageous and made everyone retreat. Want to deal with it alone. Inside the cabin on the ground floor, baby Dylan and Dylan stared at the sky with wide eyes, so much so that they all forgot to enhance the divine power of alien beasts. As a result, the alien beast was beaten violently by Taoist Qingtian. Daoist Qingtian, who had recovered to the peak, erupted with more than 400,000 divine powers, while the divine power of that alien beast was less than 400,000 in the hands of Qingtian. He has been ravaged all the time. Originally, he was arranged to come in to force these people to leak the breath of death. As a result, now he himself has begun to fear death. It's just this power of death that baby Di doesn't like at all, because he has been staring at Jian Wushuang a quarter of an hour. Dylan exclaimed. Barbody took out a white jade pot in the shape of a kettle from behind him. Is there any extra life? Dylan shook his head after hearing this. Go to the third cabin, drain all the scattered tribulations sent by the Eternal Clan, and then inject it into that kid's treatment cabin. Barbody ordered. If it's not enough, just drained these Cosmos Masters. Dylan was a little surprised, but he didn't dare to question, he just nodded. But baby Di was poking his hands excitedly, pacing in front of the sky. The more vitality, the stronger the power of death. I never thought that such a miraculous thing would happen. A weak master of the universe can actually swallow so much vitality, so how strong should the power of death burst out when the opponent is about to die? Barbody is looking forward to it. Originally, according to his plan, even if it was ahead of schedule, it would take a long time to guide a large number of strong people to come. Now it is possible to do it in one step. From Jian Wushuang alone, enough power of death is obtained, and when he arrives at what he will do with the power of death, he will not know. In the treatment warehouse, Jian Wushuang does not care about the supplement of the power of life. Instead, he feels that the power of life is getting weaker and weaker. He is pure. He plans to go out. After watching Qingtian beat that alien beast, he feels that there is no danger. If there is any danger, he will face it in the treatment chamber. The life force in the treatment chamber is getting stronger and stronger. Weak, he didn't even bother to transform. Not only was he wasting time, but every time he transformed, it would consume a certain amount of his source. In this way, not only did he not make money, but he also lost money. Qingtian in the cabin also became stronger and stronger, but he couldn't kill the alien beast. He also saw that the strength of this alien beast should not weaken him, but it just didn't fully explode. This made him very puzzled. Obviously has a very powerful divine power, but it does not explode. What is this for? As for Jian Wushuang, he hadn't paid attention to it for a long time. He just thought Jian Wushuang was a little weird. When he was on the upper floor, he was very calm in the face of death, and he didn't turn or take it. It formed a sharp contrast with the outside world. It's more like coming to visit. Now in the treatment cabin, I can't come out, and I don't know what I'm doing. Do you want to break through your own origin with vitality? Qingtian thought it was a little funny, but the next moment, he couldn't smile. Dylan. When Qingtian saw the other party, it was like a mouse seeing a cat, exuding fear from the bottom of his heart. It was the blast from the outside world that made him already have a shadow in his heart. Dylan didn't even look at Taoist Qingtian. Instead, he walked towards the alien beast powerhouse of the Eternal Family. When the other party saw Dylan, his expression was similar to that of Taoist Qingtian. It seems that Dylan has ravaged it, Lord Dylan. The beast kept stepping back, with a bad premonition in his heart. Especially when I saw the jade pot in the opponent's hand, I couldn't help but swallow. Jian Wushuang, who was in the treatment room, also saw Dylan's appearance. He originally thought of appearing directly, but after seeing the other party, he suddenly changed his mind. It is comfortable to stay in the short and thin treatment room. Don't even go out. Trash. Dylan glanced at the alien beast, and grabbed the opponent's head directly from the depth of his arm, so fast that people couldn't see the movement clearly. The alien beast was caught, unable to move. Dylan took the jade pot and inserted it directly into the opponent's chest. Then he saw a green liquid emerge from the opponent's body and enter the jade pot. This scene made Qingtian and others keep retreating. What is taken away is the vitality. The powerhouse of the Eternal Family is Sanjie. Once it is drained of life, it also means death. They never imagined that Dylan would even attack himself. In a few breaths, the vitality of a 4 Tribulation Realm powerhouse was completely extracted, and there was nothing left. The flesh has become extremely shriveled. Looking at the alien beast's empty eyes and lifeless flesh, they are all clear, as well as fallen. Dylan shook the jade pot and felt that the source of life inside was full, so he took the jade pot and walked straight to Jen Wushuang's treatment room. What is he going to do? Jen Wushuang's eyes widened, and there was a bad premonition in his heart. When he wanted to destroy the treatment chamber and go out, he found that his whole body was bound and he couldn't move at all. Eternal chain. Jen Wushuang burst out with all his strength, and the blue arrogance rose up, directly breaking the restriction. Boom, the treatment chamber was completely destroyed, and Jen Wushuang evaporated all the remaining liquid on his body, staring at Dylan. Seeing that Daijin Wushuang suddenly ran wild, Dylan was stunned for a moment, and said, "It seems that you have recovered." He lowered his head and glanced at the jade pot in his hand again. Reading www.sonicmtl.com felt a little wasteful. After all, it is the lifeblood of a powerhouse in the 4 Tribulations realm. Under everyone's attention, Dylan inserted the jade pot into his body, but this time, instead of devouring his own vitality, he absorbed the vitality in the jade pot. Such a huge vitality, all absorbed into the body. Dylan's strength skyrocketed again with the body of scattered robbery. It is comparable to the half-step 6 robbery realm. It's time for you to see what fear is. Dylan threw away the jade pot and shot directly. The violent divine power is suffocating. The rest did see fear, but Jen Wushuang did not move. He now understands that these people did not intend to kill them at all, but wanted to make them despair. Chapter 57:32. This is also normal. Jen Wushuang is himself a god-defying emperor. He is the emperor of the same level. Many people are discussing below. Jen Wushuang turned a deaf ear. What are you going to do? Don't take it too seriously, just want to see how much you have improved these days. It seems to be a bit stronger than before, but this strength is not enough. The supernatural power of 260,000 yuan was said to be worthless by Fan Tianfeng. Jen Wushuang's eyes trembled. Secretly cursing in my heart, she is afraid that she has forgotten the fear of being dominated by extinction. At the beginning, Mi Bing possessed Dongjun's bones, exploded with 250,000 times of divine power, and was able to suppress her at will. How long has it been since now? Can I feel so arrogant if I have added some divine power? Good. Jen Wushuang agreed. Since we have to learn from each other, then let the other party know what it means. There is a sky outside the sky, and there are people outside the person. And also, the origin of time and space is the strongest. Jen Wushuang put away the aura of supernatural power on his body. He wants to use the origin of his hometown to defeat Fan Tianfeng. Let her understand, don't forget your roots. Fan Tianfeng frowned as he watched Jen Wushuang put away his supernatural aura and said, "Why, you're scared?" Jen Wushuang couldn't help but smile and said, "If I'm afraid, I won't leave there for the rest of my life." Blue. Boom. The popping of space is deafening. Today is the day of the wedding, and it cannot be delayed. Since he chose to use the source to deal with Fan Tianfeng, he would not keep his hands. Eternal change. Surrounded by a blue arc, the aura on Jen Wushuang's body turned blue. Hair, clothes, and eyebrows are all blue. It also represents the power of the starry sky. This turmoil. People in the palace couldn't help but walk out. The female emperor led the officials, looking at Jen Wushuang and Fan Tianfeng. The junior's hands, she couldn't intervene. If those 2-6 Tribulations realm dared to do it, she has to end. Although those two are both in the 6 Tribulations realm, not the master of the universe. She is the master of the half-step 6 Tribulations realm universe, and the palace is her dojo. You have to die as many as you come. Unless it is the 7 Tribulations realm. Otherwise she is invincible. Naturally, don't panic. When she felt the breath of Jen Wushuang's body, there was a color in her cold eyes. This breath also appeared when dealing with Shiju. Only this time, it is much stronger than before. He has a secret. The Empress sighed in her heart. She thought Jen Wushuang was a caged bird of the royal family, but now she understands. Yu country is a small place, and Jen Wushuang can't be trapped. Entrance is just a cover, she understands this. But at first, I just felt that Jen Wushuang was an emperor and couldn't overcome any big storms. It's just that she is shaken now. Knowing that Jen Wushuang will definitely rise up in the future, a character who can't be restrained for 9 days and 10 places. Recruiting Jen Wushuang might be a wrong choice. If she knew that Jen Wushuang had harmed many people, she would have regretted her intestines. Fan Tianfeng felt Jen Wushuang's changes and was not surprised. She knows Jen Wushuang's whole cards. Draw your sword. You do not deserve. Jen Wushuang shot instantly, his figure resembling the thunder in the space. So quickly people can't see the shadow. Even the Lord of the Universe can't see clearly. Elder Mu Chen couldn't believe Jen Wushuang's speed even more. Rubbing his eyes, when he looked at Jen Wushuang again, he could only see some after-images. The reason why Fan Tianfeng has confidence is that his strength is naturally not weak. The supernatural power of 280,000 soared to 300,000. Fighting against Jen Wushuang several times, he didn't even fall behind. The eldest prince who followed the Empress side opened his mouth slightly. 3 days ago, he thought Jen Wushuang had exerted his full strength. The result is that he was playing tricks at the beginning. As long as Jen Wushuang is in this state, he only needs a look in his eyes to defeat him. Boom! Jen Wushuang had the upper hand, and the sharp fist smashed the space. If not for the formation of the royal capital, and the maintenance of the female emperor, this place has long since become like an eternal kingdom. Although he could not destroy the entire eternal kingdom. But ruining a royal capital is really not a problem. The combat power he exploded has reached the Four Tribulations realm. And it's the fighting power of the Lord of the Universe. The Lord of the Universe in the Four Tribulations realm is only his strength. The Princess Jin Chen on Long Hug looked at the bursts of blue arrogance in the sky with her head hooked. Knowing that it was produced every time Jen Wushuang played against each other. But just can't see how Jen Wushuang looked when he shot. Fear. He is so strong. Jin Chen was speechless. When Jen Wushuang defeated Shiju, she only felt that Shiju was out of luck. After reaching the robbery realm, he could still catch up with Jen Wushuang. But now that he has witnessed Jen Wushuang's real combat power, even if Shiju became the Lord of the Universe, he was not Jen Wushuang's opponent. She had to admit this. Wu Li and others in the royal capital also looked up. He was even more shocked. Jen Wushuang's strength has surpassed him. Some can't hold it anymore. Fortunately, he also has a whole card. Otherwise, he would have to consider running away. If you continue to cooperate with Jen Wushuang, he will kill the donkey that day, and he has no choice. The entire royal capital, and even the entire high level of the country of Vietnam, are paying attention to this battle. Some people think that the royal family has picked up the treasure. Actually discovered Jen Wushuang such a peerless arrogant. Some people think long-term. I think the royal family might be afraid of Jen Wushuang. The strength that Jen Wushuang erupted was really too shocking. Jen Wushuang in the blue arrogance just used his aura to stun Fan Tianfeng back. Fan Tianfeng, who was also in the flames, had a somewhat unstable breath. Just a series of fights, let her see the gap. Jen Wushuang was so strong that it was indeed beyond her imagination. Impossible, how can your strength be so strong? Fan Tianfeng forcibly burned his divine power and rushed again. She didn't believe that Jen Wushuang could maintain this state for a long time. Definitely burn the source and fight her desperately. Jen Wushuang stood in the void, deep, his eyes cold. Hum. A beam of light burst into the finger. The blue air column burst out and instantly arrived in front of Fan Tianfeng. Without waiting for her to think about it, Jen Wushuang's figure rushed along the air column he just hit. His speed is faster than his own breath. Fan Tianfeng has nowhere to hide. Dodge the attack, can't avoid Jen Wushuang. His Royal Highness, don't panic. The 2-6 Tribulation Realm powerhouses who were also watching the battle shot at this time. They shocked Jen Wushuang's terrifying combat power. But I will never forget my mission. Protect Fan Tianfeng. This is Hu Yi, the most proud of flame divine power. If they fall, neither of them will survive. Although Jian Wushuang was strong, he had no way to deal with the Six Tribulations realm. Can only stop the figure. At this moment, the Empress also personally ended. 3,000 red sleeves flew out of the palace. Cover the sky and the sun. The breath of horror suddenly fell. The two Six Tribulations realm experts simultaneously protected Fan Tianfeng and turned to look outside the palace gate. Where the Empress is standing, the Faxiang rises to the sky. Shenghui Nebula. The female emperor snorted coldly. Chapter 57-33. A huge nebula form appeared, condensing the appearance of the Empress. The red sleeve envelops the nebula image. A palm shot directly suppressed the two Six Tribulations realm. Fan Tianfeng had nothing to do, standing still at a loss. With a stroke of her hand, the female emperor directly threw the two Six Tribulation realm powerhouses out of the territory of Yu Kingdom. Go on. The Empress stretched out her hand, motioning for the two to continue fighting. Jian Wushuang swallowed, wondering if he should make another move. However, since I spoke, he can't violate it either. Fan Tianfeng's expression was a little flustered, and he hurriedly transmitted the sound to the ancestor. At the same time shot again. Flame body. A fire demon that seemed to have crawled out of purgatory descended. That is the blood that Fan Tianfeng is proud of. The blood of the flame gods. Fan Tianfeng, the strongest Hou. But in Jian Wushuang's eyes, it was vulnerable. Condensing the power of the stars with both hands. An invisible sword appeared in his hand. You are going to lose. Jian Wushuang said he wouldn't draw his sword, but he didn't say he wouldn't use it. When he condensed the invisible sword, the sword of the starry sky was hung in the royal capital. Billions of sword intent fill the sky. They rushed towards Fan Tianfeng together. At this moment, even if the opponent is struggling, it is useless to burn divine power. Jian Wushuang made billions of swords. The gathered starry sky power, if converted into divine power, would definitely exceed 500,000. He really wants to draw the sword. He doesn't know how strong he will be. Fan Tianfeng was really panicked this time. Retreating constantly, the flame behind her stood in front of her. But this is just a sign. Can't stop it at all. When billions of sword intents rushed in, they were instantly fragmented. I admit defeat. Fan Tianfeng was completely desperate without the resistance of the law. If you really want to resist, she will die. Hundreds of thousands of sword intent, gathered into an invisible sword, suspended between Fan Tianfeng's neck. At the same time, the distant sky began to burn, and it turned into a sea of flames in just a moment. In this sea of flames, there is a human face hidden. Flame gods. The ancient wood continent is the strongest in contemporary times. The infinite flame contained in his pair of eyes can kill the Seven Tribulations realm. If you really want to attack Jian Wushuang, I am afraid that the entire Yu country will be destroyed in an instant. However, he saw that Jian Wushuang's cause and effect were deeply entangled with Fan Tianfeng, and he did not directly take action. Empress Fenken's eyelids throbbed, and her dojo collapsed in an instant. She knew that it was the flame who had arrived. Even in his own dojo, it is absolutely unstoppable. Let's go. The flame god made a dull voice. Jian Wushuang did not intend to kill him, knowing that the flame would not attack him. But being so watched, there is still a great sense of oppression. The same as that Kai Zhouxiao. However, the original Kai Zhouxiao didn't use his full strength. If he really wanted to make a move, he would be stronger than the flame god. Jian Wushuang, we will see each other again. Fan Tianfeng gritted his teeth, turned around and walked through the flame space, and left Yu Kingdom. The flame space in the sky also disappeared. Jian Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief. Everyone also breathed a sigh of relief. The sense of oppression just now was too strong. Princess Jin Chen, who was sitting in the middle of Long Hua, looked at Jian Wushuang's back with fear in her eyes. Only now did she understand that the mysterious powerhouse she met in Baihua Mountain was Jian Wushuang. Emperor, 5 Tribulations realm. The strength that Jian Wushuang had just exploded definitely had the combat power of the 4 Tribulations realm. The master of the universe who can fight for the 4 Tribulations realm. Powerful. Some people feel incredible. GUU time and space, the first emperor can't be overstated, right? Many people were amazed. Jian Wushuang condensed his aura, and he also felt that he had just taken a shot that seemed a bit ostentatious. Accidentally, the burst of strength was too strong. The main thing is that there is a breath in my heart. Fan Tianfeng's own strength is not very good, but he uses his background to suppress him. This makes him very upset. Everyone is an emperor from the Temple of Qishan. Came to GUU time and space to save the Temple of Qi. Instead of fighting background here. Meaningless. Cool. Jian Wushuang glanced around and returned to Long Hu. The big wedding has to go on. Mu Chen looked back at Long Hu, stabilized his emotions, and continued to walk towards the palace. This time the empress was standing outside the palace, waiting for the procession to welcome her. At the same time, several Six Tribulation Realm powerhouses arrived. The breath just now, as well as several ancestors in the royal family, were alarmed. Have you found out the details of this, son? A simple voice came into the ears of the empress. The arrogant empress also moved her expression when she heard this voice, and then respectfully said, "Ancestor, I have checked, the affairs of Outland are all arranged by Wu Li, not from the background of Jian Wushuang." Then, what about the real background? Can't find out. The empress said truthfully, he appeared out of thin air. Thanks, it seems that the more my country is in a disaster. When she heard what the ancestor said, the empress was stunned. Then reacted. The country of Yu is not a powerful country among the 16 countries. The super dynasty of the Eternal Kingdom has not been destroyed for a few years. Today's Gumu continent, undercurrents are surging. Everything must be careful. If Jian Wushuang sneaked into Yu country, it was for the belongings of Yu country. Both the empress and the ancestors didn't believe it. Because Jian Wushuang's strength surpassed their cognition. It will never be because of Yu Guo. It might be to hide your identity and do some big thing. What they fear is that they will be implicated in the country of Vietnam at that time. But now Jian Wushuang has been married. There is no way to return it. Can only pray that Jian Wushuang's future will help Yu Guo instead of destroying Yu Guo. Looking at Jian Wushuang's passing figure. This idea was suppressed by her again. She didn't think Jian Wushuang would help Yu Guo. It's good time. After the sharp voice sounded, many guests all took their seats. The ceremony was extremely grand. It lasted from morning to night. Many powerhouses in the hall were discussing Jian Wushuang's strength. On the surface, Yu Guo picked up the treasure, but secretly waited to see the joke. Such a powerful son-in-law was not as cheap as the boy from Shiguo. After Jian Wushuang became the Tribulation Realm, it would not take long for him to become the master of the universe in the 5 Tribulations realm. By then, how could it be subjugated to others? The country of Vietnam will also change. But Wu Li is the biggest winner of the game. Regardless of Jian Wushuang's status, the status of the Wu family has risen in real terms. But Wu Li couldn't be happy from the bottom of his heart. Such a powerful Jian Wushuang is not something he can handle. When the time comes to open Wanliu, there will be some trouble. Although he also has a whole card, that existence cannot appear at will. This big wedding comes down. The audience is happy. However, no one in the Yu royal family and Wu family can be happy. Shi-san, the night is late. Jian Wushuang was sitting on the bed alone, while Princess Jin Chen was sending guests away. When I returned to the east, it was late at night. Chapter 57-34. Big husband, born in heaven and earth. How can you live on this bed? When Princess Jin Chen walked into the bridal chamber, Jian Wushuang suddenly stood up. His eyes are firm and clear, and his feet are strong, step by step close to each other. You. Princess Jin Chen was a little frightened. She was taken aback for a moment, her purple eyes staring at Jian Wushuang. The feat of Jian Wushuang by Tian Tian really restrained her. Now she also understood that it was not the mysterious 5 Tribulations realm at Baihua Mountain, but Jian Wushuang in front of her. Although there is still some distance from the 5 Tribulations realm. But the current Jian Wushuang could have the combat power of the 4 Tribulations realm. This time Mingmian defeated Tianjiao, the foremost bloodline of the ancient Wood continent, with the displayed combat power. It is already the number 1 in GUU time and space in contemporary times. Even counting upwards, none of the Emperor Tianjiao of the reincarnation era was as defying as Jian Wushuang. What are you doing? Jin Chen took a step back unconsciously. No matter how powerful Jian Wushuang is, there is only one person in her heart. This will not change. Jian Wushuang approached step by step and stood in front of Jin Chen. After staying for a while, Qiong said forcefully, "Let me." Princess Jin Chen was a little puzzled, but took a step back as she did. Jian Wushuang took the opportunity to walk out of the vicinity of the bed and came to a corner. Said it is a corner, but the palace prepared by the royal family for them is not bad. Even in the corner, there is a futon. Those who didn't know thought it was specially prepared for Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang directly sat cross-legged on the futon, his eyes closed. "Don't worry, I won't touch you. H, if you are acquainted, I have your handle, you'd better not do anything out of the ordinary." Princess Jin Chen held her head up. Jian Wushuang frowned when he heard the word handle, and instantly stood up, his eyes opened, his murderous aura leaked out. The Princess Jin Chen, who was still a little proud just now, lowered her head held high when she saw Jian Wushuang's appearance. "Don't offend me, I know why you want to join the royal family, I assent it because of the qualifications of the sacred society," Jin Chen said a little emboldened. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief. He thought that the matter of taking refuge in Bobby was known. Now that the Holy Assembly qualification token has been obtained, there is nothing to hide. This time I entered the custody, it was nothing more than a clever setting up of a name. If you simply provoke the Tianjiao of the major families to show your own strength, it is likely to be abandoned halfway. Come to GUU time and space. Every time he broke out, it seemed to be for himself, but every time he fought for others. On the bright side, Zhang Shijiu and Fan Tianfeng have exaggerated backgrounds. Secretly, he first showed his prominence in Baihua Mountain, and then broke out in the Eternal Realm. They are all famous teachers. You can't just provoke others to explode your strength for no reason, and then wait for the Gumu faction or some superpowers to draw in. This will not only fail to be cultivated, but will lose your life instead. The trip to the human world in the Temple of Chishan made him see the terrible family. It's okay to be a dog. Pride of the day. It simply doesn't work. Even now, it is because of Wu Li's identity that he can enter this upper world. Sometimes strength is not absolute. For example, he is just an emperor after all. Even if the fighting power of the Four Tribulations realm erupts, it is still the emperor. If there is no background, it is worthless, and it will be squeezed out by those superpowers, or even beheaded. After all, this world has so many resources, and if one power rises, there will be one more rival. Jian Wushuang knew this well. That's why Wu Li's plan was carried out step by step. This also shows that Wu Li was the mastermind of this game, and even understood the chains of this world early. If you want the family to rise to another level, then there must be a peerless powerhouse. He pressed the treasure on himself. There are only a few tribulation realms in the Wu family, and they are not as talented as him. The family background is also very shallow. After all, resources are still limited. If you want to get more resources, you must become stronger. So he dared to peer into Wanliu Shenmu. It was his luck that he got the wooden sword, with the vitality power matching the 10,000 willow sacred tree above it. Most likely, it is a treasure flowing out of Wanliu Shenmu. This is an opportunity and a catastrophe. Grasp it, and make it to the sky in one step. It is not a problem to become the master of the universe in the Five Tribulations realm. Maybe it can go further and create a superpower. If you are not sure, then run away. This is nothing, anyway. The Wu family now ranks in the top 10 in a small dynasty like you. Looking at the ancient Wood continent, it can only be regarded as a force with a name but no surname. He doesn't like that little resource either. Jian Wushuang's thoughts were not as simple as Wu Li's. In the face of it, he wants to open Wanliu, and secretly cooperates with Barbie Di. His goal is not only the ancient Wood continent, but even to be involved in the entire GUU time-space dispute. As long as there are disputes, there will be opportunities. If Emperor Barbie can really overturn GUU time and space, then he can also get a lot of benefits. Bao can't press them all together. He wants a long layout. The current strength is still too weak. You need to take risks if you want to rise. Following Barbie DI is an adventure, and opening Wanliu is also an adventure. As long as one succeeds, he can fly into the sky. Return to the Temple of Forbidding God to solve the extinction. He can directly disregard all time and space. At that time, he would have the real strength and patience to find teacher Xian Yi and take a look at the future world. He now needs to struggle constantly. Yu Kingdom, Southeast China. A white figure, like a stream of light, broke through the space and flew at an extremely fast speed. On his body, there is still a breath of Jian Wushuang. This person, it was Jian Wushuang who refined the chess pieces of the font size and injected them into the life-recovering 5 Tribulations realm powerhouse Z. By the day before the wedding, Jian Wushuang released Zibai out and waited near the capital. For the grand marriage of the future female emperor of the Yu Kingdom, many powerful people will come, and there will be some in the 5 Tribulations realm. Not afraid of being discovered, Zibai waited outside. He took the opportunity to select prey. Among the top 10 families, the top 3 are all 6 Calamity Realm powerhouses. That was the superpower that existed before the establishment of Yu Kingdom. Although it is now dilapidated, there is no master of the universe who has come to the 5 Tribulations realm. But there are still old monsters in the Dispersion realm in the family. Of these 3 families, Jian Wushuang would naturally not take risks. The remaining 10 families. He also looks down on forces like the Wu family at the end. Finally placed in the 5th-ranked family. Chen family. Rise several times ago. The master of the universe whose family has gone out of the 5 Tribulations realm has also opened a 5-star sect. The lord of the universe in the 5 Tribulations realm fell, and the sect was also destroyed. Turned into clan power. Several cosmic masters of the 4 Tribulation realm have appeared one after another, and all of them have failed to overcome the tribulation and become the dispersing Tribulation realm. Chapter 57-35. Today, the strongest in the family is a universe lord of the 3 Tribulations realm, and his strength is not as good as Wu Li. Even in one's own universe, the combat power of the ordinary 4 Tribulations realm can burst out. If it were not for the glory of the ancestors, it would not rank 5th. There are also a few old-fashioned scattered robbers in the family, all of which are in the 4th Tribulation realm. It's a good choice. Jian Wushuang's wisp of consciousness turned into an erratic human form, moving forward in Zibai's light and shadow. Go to the universe of the Lord of the Universe first. Yes. Zibai didn't hesitate. His figure quickly rose up, and he walked directly toward the universe conceived in the void. An elliptical universe, like stars in the void. If you look closely, you can see the internal structure. There are only more than 1,000 black holes. Jian Wushuang shook his head. Too weak. This kind of universe is in the eyes of a time-space emperor like him. Works that spoil the space. Not worthy to survive. Kill it. Yes. Zibai turned into light and shadow and directly pierced the universe. The origin of everything that envelops the universe collapses in an instant. As well as the formations are constantly being corroded. This is a precursor to the destruction of the source. Who? An angry sound rang, and then angrily said, "Dare to break into my universe, you are looking for death." Zibai stopped, and after looking at the figure inside the origin of the universe, a smile leaked from the corner of his mouth. There is also an extra folding fan in his hand, lightly dancing. Seems to be partial sun. However, in the next moment, he became an demon who destroys the world. His figure soared to hundreds of millions of miles in an instant, his whole body exuding colored light and shadow, and without waiting for the other party's reaction, his punch hit the origin of the universe. With just one punch, the black hole that carries the universe collapsed 100. The Lord of the Universe went from furious to horror in an instant. One punch destroyed 100 black holes. Now the universe has been hit hard. With a few more punches, I'm afraid his universe will be destroyed directly. Ancestor, save me. As soon as a cry of wailing sounded, it was completely dimmed. On a certain continent in the southeastern China, the Chen family sounded the alarm for genocide. What happened? What happened? Look, Patriarch's universe is collapsing, with the noisy voice sounded. People kept breaking out and flying into the sky. The universe of the contemporary patriarch is just above the clanland, and they can see it when they look up. A star keeps flickering. This is the signal before the collapse. Several Four Tribulation Realm powerhouses in the depths of the clan gathered together in an instant. The law bodies of the Lord of the Three Tribulations Realm Cosmos was also there. Run away. Go to the capital. After Chen family patriarch said these words, the law body shattered. This also represents the fall of the deity. The ancestors' eyes throbbed. But they were all people who had experienced big winds and waves, and they reacted in an instant. People in the family cannot be saved. But that is not important. The Tianjiao in the family is either in Gumu sect or Qingyun sect. There are also some strong players out there. Those who stayed in the family were some junior emperors, or immortal immortals, and some mortals. These can be cultivated. As long as the robbery is still alive. If the family treasure is still there, they will be able to rise again. A few people arrived at the treasure house in an instant. At the same time, a huge teleportation formation rose up. This teleportation array also carries a treasure trove. The treasure house is a single cave world. You can't enter at all at ordinary times. Once the family enters the moment of crisis, the treasure house will open the teleportation array and fall into the turbulence of moments. Only the few talents appointed by the family can sense where they are. Around the treasure house, there are 4 huge pillars. The 4 ancestors, one by one, sat cross-legged on the top. They don't need to manipulate the big formation, only need to guard the big formation. Even if you fall, you must make sure to leave the teleportation treasure house. The rest of the robbery realm in the family can escape if they can, and ordinary emperors don't care about it. The talented seedlings are scattered and fleeing. All this is in order. It seems to have been rehearsed. The response is extremely fast. Even Jian Wushuang, who had just arrived here, was a bit stunned. Look at it at a glance. The Chen family's nest was scattered all over. But these scattered powerhouses are no different from waste. Poor and weak. He didn't even feel a catastrophe. Apparently already ran away. Jian Wushuang felt a faint atmosphere of space. If it is an ordinary strong person, it is difficult to feel even in the tribulation realm. But Jian Wushuang is an emperor of time and space, and he is very sensitive to this kind of induction. Not good. That breath is a space-time teleportation array. Jian Wushuang took out a mask at will and put it on. The aura on his body was restrained and contracted, and then directly squeezed a seed. That is the power of the starry sky condensed from the deity. The blue power rose instantly. Jian Wushuang slammed into the big formation. At the same time, he also transmitted the location of this place to Zibai. This teleportation array must be destroyed. Otherwise, this time he would come in vain. Only at this time Zibai was still scraping away the treasures in the universe. If he doesn't stop it, he will have to leave when he is discovered by the strong man in the nearby universe. Don't worry, come to the Chen family first. Jian Wushuang directly transmitted the voice command. This formation is 10 times stronger than the one in the universe. He can guess even with his butt, and this treasure trove is set in it. Ha ha ha. Jian Wu appeared invisibly in his hands. At this time, he was not afraid of others' suspicion, and he went straight out with all his strength. This sword shook the entire formation. It was blocked for a moment. The 4 ancestors glared. The power of that sword just now was almost equal to the strength of the ordinary 4 tribulations realm. Similar to the 4 of them. I'll drag him. A strong man with the most withered face stood up. He is the oldest 4 tribulations realm in the family. It is also the 4 tribulations realm with the least vitality. It's time for him to dedicate himself. Gong Song, great-grandfather. The 3-4 Tribulation Realm powerhouses, who also have the title of Ancestor, bowed one after another at this moment. Regarding seniority, they all have to call their great-grandfather. This powerful man in the Dispersion realm had followed the existence of the master of the 5 Tribulation Realm universe who opened the family. Now they are facing downfall. Dare to attack my Chen family, is not afraid of the royal family. The thin old man, even at this moment, did not forget to delay time. Jian Wushuang didn't talk nonsense at all, constantly attacking the formation. It doesn't look at each other. Although the opponent has the combat power of the 4 Tribulations realm, it is hard to say how long they can fight. Maybe there are no 2 tricks, all vitality will be lost, and only the flesh will be left. Jian Wushuang dodged at will, avoiding a punch from the old man. Hold the Excalibur upside down and leave precariously. Changed a place and continued to destroy the big formation. Said to destroy, in fact, it is interference. His current combat power is not enough to destroy this large formation. Even his deity can't do it. Chapter 57-36. This great formation was definitely created for the family at the peak of the 5 Tribulations realm universe master. Unless it is a superpower in the 5 Tribulations realm, it can't be broken at all. Zibai's transformed and demon directly descended on the sacred mountain above the teleportation array. Jian Wu was overjoyed and said loudly, "Despite everything, I broke him." After hearing these words, Zibai's eyes condensed, directly burning his own origin. He is also considered to be in the Scattered Tribulation realm, and even worse than the Scattered Tribulation realm. As long as the Dispersal Tribulation realm does not take action, it can still slowly gather vitality. Unless it has existed for too long, and even the seeds of life have disappeared, it will wither completely. Zibai is different. He was the one who had died. Even if he was revived, it was only his strength for a moment. Once the source is burned out, it will fall completely. And Zibai, after burning the origin, possesses the power of the pinnacle of the 5 Tribulations realm. 4 arms grew from behind, with 3 ugly heads. The strongest magical powers in ancient times, the pinnacle of the heavens and the earth. Directly displayed 3 times the combat power. The entire formation was torn apart. Jian Wu was overjoyed, he didn't expect it would break so easily. Everything is done in a few breaths. The ancestors of the Chen family looked dizzy and completely lost their confidence. "I want you to die." The 4 ancestors gave their lives one after another. Exhausting the last bit of life in his whole body, and the little blood left when he was young, he chose to blow himself up. To die Mingji. The family is over, and these old guys are useless alive. Crucially, Jian Wushuang would not let them live either. At the moment when they blew themselves up, Zibai also exhausted his whole body's origin, giving Jian Wushuang the terrifying power of nirvana at the moment. Boom! The huge and demon fell. Together with the flesh began to break. The teleportation array was also destroyed. Now only a piece of mutilation remains. And Jian Wushuang's law body. Wow! Behind Jian Wushuang, a black hole appeared, directly collecting all the wreckage into the black hole behind it. Turning around and taking a look, Jian Wushuang took out a source of destruction from the mustard seeds in the chaotic Chen family land. This was originally brought out from the Temple of Chishan. I was thinking of swallowing it myself. Now he doesn't lack this, just bloom here. Kai Kai. Jian Wushuang tore through the space, and the law body stepped away. Behind him was a dark flower blooming. The Chen family land was wiped out. Although it's midnight, you can practice in the world, day and night. Similarly, there is no distinction between black and white. The Chen family was wiped out. Master, have you seen it? Someone looked up to the sky, offering sacrifices to their master. Someone also bowed down to the Chen family. There are enemies and benefactors. There are also some missing items. Jian Wushuang took away the treasure house, but he could not take away some fixed resources. This side of the site was quickly eroded by the nearby forces. But this is all for later. Jian Wushuang's law body threw a mustard seed on a meteorite through space, and the law body was destroyed by itself. That meteorite, mixed in the turbulent current, has hundreds of millions of the same rubble nearby, surrounding a burning star. And here, there are countless stars. It's like purgatory. Deity. Early the next morning, Jian Wushuang and Jin Chen left the room early and went to the palace to meet the empress. This is regarded as the rule of the royal family. In the morning, it was the time for Shang dynasty. However, in the main hall of the palace, only Jian Wushuang and Princess Jin Chen are real bodies, and the rest are law bodies. They descended instantly and appeared on their respective thrones. The empress also appeared at the end. Your Majesty, the Chen family has been destroyed. According to the latest investigation, it looks like a magician giant shot. 3 years ago, the Eternal Kingdom was destroyed, and now the Chen family is wiped out in a single thought, and the remaining power is too strange to ask question. Many people are more resistant to probing. The kingdom of God like the Eternal Kingdom will be destroyed. Not to mention Yu Guo. It's better not to check, it's more at this juncture. Moreover, he was still working on the night of the eldest princess wedding, which was obviously premeditated. Sitting on the top, the empress slowly raised her hand with her fingers soaked in ink, and scribbled randomly on a gold list. Regarding the Chen family's affairs, she didn't care about it. A family died. And it is also the top 5 big family in Vietnam. It was a big deal, but at this time, she didn't have any worries. The heart is like water. After the sacred meeting is over, do further investigation. The empress' tone was very casual. Compared with this incident, what she wants to announce next is the real big thing. When everyone heard the next words, everyone was shocked. The 16 kingdoms of grass. Ranked first is the Stone Kingdom, not only as simple as having appeared in the 8 Tribulations realm, but also guarded by the flame gods. There is no need to say the third eternal kingdom. The Lord of the Universe with the 6 Tribulations realm for generations is extremely stable, but unfortunately it has now been destroyed, and the space has been directly wiped out. There is no eternal kingdom in the world. The first and third places have special places. Among the 16 countries, the second place is also unusual. Daughter country. What the Empress announced this time was that the Lord of the Daughter Kingdom successfully crossed the tribulation and became the Lord of the 7 Tribulations realm universe. Originally, this country lord was as famous as Shishio, the Lord of the First Universe in the Stone Country. In terms of fame, it is not even as good as Shishio of Zhongxing Shiguo. The two are in the same position as the men of the ancient Wood continent, and the future will depend on the existence of the 7 Tribulations realm. There are only so many masters of the 6 Tribulations realm universe in Gumu continent today. Many people think that Shishio will be the fastest breakthrough, but they did not expect to be the leader of the daughter country. There was also a strange color on the face of the Empress, her brows frowned, as if she was reminiscing about something. It's just that now everyone is more shocked. Master of 7 Tribulations realm universe. When Jian Wushuang heard this, he also took a breath of cold air. The realm of the gods at the beginning, this is not the realm of scattered robbery. That is the real master of the universe. There is almost no gap between the masters of the 7 Tribulations realm universe in the entire ancient Wood continent and the number of powerhouses in the 8 Tribulations realm. There are only 2 or 3 people in Gumu continent. There is one of the Gu Mu sect, who is the ancestor of the school, who used to open up the Guu time-space sect era together with the leader of the Guu sect. It is the oldest batch of 8 Tribulations realm. Then there are the ancestors of the Stone Country, and the Flame Gods. The last is the ancestor of the Daughter Country. However, the 8 Tribulations realm of the Daughter Kingdom has fallen. And the era of fall has been a long time ago. There are only 4 8 Tribulations realm, and one has fallen. The Wood King of the ancient Wood School is too old, and there is not much vitality, and I am afraid that it is not far from the end. The only one who can tell is the Flame God. The ancestor of Shiguo didn't work either. Chapter 57:37. And the Lord of the 7 Tribulations realm universe is also rare. And they are all in the sect. One is the contemporary leader of the Gu Mu sect. The other is a superpower from the Ancient Moon sect to the Ancient Wood continent. He is a powerful man named Iron Courage. Except for the 19 super beings who opened the sect at the time, most of the powerful kings have fallen or left Guyue time and space. The strongest person is almost the person with the highest position in time and space and the strongest strength in GUU. The masters of the Seven Tribulations realm universe who can be entrusted are all peak powers of the same rank. In his own dojo, it can be comparable to the peak 8 Tribulations realm. It is conceivable that even the person in charge of the Gu Mu sect was not sealed. Now the daughter of the country's master has successfully crossed the catastrophe. Besides the sect, he was the first Seven Tribulation realm universe master. It is also the third contemporary master of the universe of the Seven Tribulations realm in Gumu continent. Within the dojo, there is the infinite vitality of the 8 Tribulations realm combat power. Everyone is envious. Most of the people present are the masters of the universe. However, most of them are in the 3 Tribulations realm, and only a few are the masters of the 4 Tribulations realm of the universe. As for the Lord of the Universe in the 5 Tribulations realm, the entire Yu Kingdom is also the female emperor of the royal family. Moreover, the female emperor is still the master of the universe of the 6 Tribulations realm, and is only one step away from crossing the tribulation. In the entire Gumu continent, the female emperor's combat power in the same tier, faintly ranked first. This is also the reason why Yu Guo has been emboldened recently. Now only need to move forward steadily to compete for the position of the saint. Now that the daughter of the country's master has successfully crossed the catastrophe, the Gumu sect saint of the same name may be coming soon too. Regardless of success or failure, it must give way. The position of the female emperor for the saint can be said to be determined. Not surprisingly, it should be her. Well, there is nothing else to do today, so let's go away first. The empress waved her hand, a little tired. But there was a little oppression on his face. That is brought about by strength. The lord of the daughter country, the empress closed her eyes and thought about it carefully. The two at the time. They are a generation. Even in her age, she is much older than the daughter of the country's lord. When she achieved the immortal, the daughter of the country's lord had just embarked on the road of spiritual practice. When she was at the limit of Dao Jun, the other party had already caught up with her. That innocent and romantic girl, she vaguely remembered that face. During the time when I went to the Gumu school to practice. That girl, she did not follow behind her. Now she has reached a position that she dare not even think about. The Lord of the 7 Tribulations realm universe. She really didn't think about it. In the 6th calamity, she was a little struggling. Not to mention the 7 Tribulations realm. If she could also become the master of the universe of the 7 Tribulations realm, the contemporary Yu Kingdom could rank in the top 3 of the 16 kingdoms. Because of the disappearance of the Eternal Kingdom, there is an extra place. But the resources are not much. The entire Eternal Kingdom is gone. Empress Fengchen rubbed her eyebrows, and the phantom on the other throne had disappeared. Jian Wushuang and Princess Jinchen were also walking outside. Before stepping out of the threshold, he was stopped by a voice. Jian Wushuang was taken aback for a moment, then turned around and said respectfully, "What else is your majesty?" Although he is already a family, according to the rules of the country, he still has to call your majesty. The lord of the kingdom of the daughter of the kingdom of the 7 Tribulations, all parties will congratulate, and we cannot be less than the country. This time you too will go with the ancestors of the clan mansion. After speaking, a scroll flew out and fell in front of Princess Jinchen. Mother Queen, Jinchen was a little surprised, and still picked up the scroll for a moment. Jian Wushuang looked at him with enthusiasm, not knowing what it was. "Get out," the empress said, and her figure disappeared faintly. With full of doubts, the two walked out of the main hall, speechless all the way, and went straight back to the mansion in the royal capital below. As soon as he entered the luxurious mansion, Jian Wushuang couldn't help but ask, "What is that scroll?" In the hall, he noticed that Empress Fengchen had written something on it. When it was handed over to Jin Chen, he didn't say much. "This scroll is definitely not simple." "I don't know." Princess Jin Chen walked towards the back garden with her little hand on her back. Jian Wushuang originally planned to get back the hidden mustard seed, but in his heart he was extremely curious about the scroll. Followed to the back garden. He didn't get better in this mansion. Only after arriving in the back garden did I realize that this is the garden, and the whole is Yihua Mountain. Halfway up the mountain, among countless glamorous flowers, there is an ice pool. The two were sitting in the pavilion next to the ice pool. The cool breeze has passed, making people happy. I've said it, I can't open it. Jin Chen got a little annoyed, took out the scroll directly, and gave it to Jian Wushuang. He took it carefully, gently holding the scroll, and complained, "I don't know the goods, this is a baby, you can't be so spoiled." Jin Chen's large shui-lingling eyes rolled his eyes. "But in the bottom of my heart is a cold snort. This scroll is a gift from her mother's queen to her daughter's country lord, and only the person involved can open it. It's just that when it was handed over to her, it didn't make it clear, but Tranchen informed her. Although Jian Wushuang entered the royal family, but it doesn't mean it's one's own. Jian Wushuang can go to show his face. But there is no Jian Wushuang's share in important matters related to interests." Holding the scroll, Jian Wushuang, who has won the most precious treasure, doesn't know what the other party thinks. At this time, he had only one thought, and that was to open the scroll and want to take a look. He is not all curiosity either. Never mind. This time, I was really curious. He didn't want to quibble. Because in the hall, he, an emperor, could see the female emperor's frown and some strange smells. This empress must have some kind of connection with the daughter of the country master. Regarding the relationship between the Empress Fengchen and the Lord of the Daughter Kingdom, only some universe masters in the 5 Tribulations realm and even the 6 Tribulations realm know. Only a few people of that generation have survived to this day. Either died midway or died outside the battlefield. Considered for a moment in his hand. Jian Wushuang saw the power of restraint from above. Very peculiar. That power seemed to be borrowed from somewhere. It's like the power of the starry sky that he peeped into the starry sky. The more you can't see through, he was more curious. I want to go and take a look. So that he didn't even care about business affairs. The most important thing for him now is to retrieve the treasure trove from the Chen family, as well as the future plans with Wu Li that need to be finalized one by one. Now there is not much time left before the holy meeting. He also needs to build a sword embryo. For the robbery, he was almost ready. Breakthrough is not a problem, the problem is how to go further. When he broke through the tribulation realm, it was the day he became the Lord of the universe. By then, his sword embryo will also become a treasure of the universe. It can be regarded as the first cosmic treasure bred by the original universe. Chapter 5738. It is very important to him, but he intends to infuse all his kendo into it by then. Create a treasure to promote each other with him. Naturally, be careful. It's a pity that time has been rushed this time. He didn't expect to be able to make breakthroughs so quickly, so he hasn't been in a hurry. I am embracing the Buddha's feet now, I don't know if it will be too late. After pondering the scroll carefully, Jian Wushuang stretched out his hand, a trace of blue power poured into it. When Jin Chen saw this, his eyes shrank and threatened. The Queen Mother said, "Only the Lord can open it. If you dare to open it now, it is a felony." "Thanks, Tusk, it's the same as I guessed." Jian Wushuang smiled, shook his head, and then reluctantly returned the scroll to Jin Chen. But the bottom of his heart was a sneer. The power radiated just now is for the other party to see. When he first touched the scroll, he injected a force into the scroll. It was just blocked by the ban. With the time in his hand, he used the power of the starry sky to constantly test. Peeped at the contents of the scroll long ago. What I did just now is just to blow up Jin Chen and see what the Empress said to her. Little girl film, play with him. Not even close. Jian Wushuang walked out of the pavilion regretfully. What are you going to do? Jin Chen couldn't help but ask when Jian Wushuang was a little lonely. Go home. Jian Wushuang replied irritably. The figure changed and he left the mansion directly. Wu family. He was not in a hurry to fetch the mustard seed from the turbulent flow of time and space. Instead, he went to his house and looked for Wu Li to find out about the Shi Kingdom's caste of gods. By the way, talk about the current situation again, and ask what else to prepare before the congregation. Just entered Wu Mansion. Wu Li hurried over. Why are you coming back so fast? Wu Li's eyes were full of surprise. I got married yesterday, and I came back less than noon the next day. Jian Wushuang walked straight into the backyard and joked as he walked. Why, those who married out, the water poured out. It's hard to get over water. He is different. That's not what I meant. I'm afraid the royal family will misunderstand. Wu Li laughed and followed into the backyard. Since discovering that Jian Wushuang's strength surpassed him, he has lowered his posture by one level. Jian Wushuang came to the backyard, randomly found a place to sit down, and said, Brother Wu Li, this time I have a business to come here. Say. Wu Li's expression became serious when he heard it. Now Jian Wushuang said that there was a business matter. He was indeed very solemn. Maybe it was something big. Jian Embryo. Jian Wushuang said about his own affairs, and wanted Wu Li to pay attention to him. After Wu Li heard it, it was not difficult. By the way, the embryo matter was also explained to Jian Wushuang in detail. There are many types of embryos. There are also many levels. For example, congenital embryos are the most precious innate embryos. The embryo of the eternal treasure is the eternal embryo. The embryo of the treasure of the universe is naturally the embryo of the universe. Creating a universe embryo is no less than creating a universe. When Jian Wushuang heard it, his expression moved. Fortunately, he ransacked the Chen family last night. In terms of treasures, it should be enough. Divine power dominates time and space. How many treasures can it cost to build a universe? Jian Wushuang smiled and told Wu Li to open up and say, let alone the ordinary ones, just say the kind that is the strongest, and he wants to build that kind. Wu Li was a little embarrassed, but went on to say, in fact, I want to create a universe embryo that matches me perfectly, and it is also related to me, not the stronger the better. Jian Wushuang rubbed his chin and nodded for Wu Li to continue. Let me give you an analogy. The cosmic embryo I created at the beginning is also a sword embryo. According to the structure of my universe at the time, I have embedded 100 black hole spaces in the embryo, reaching 1/10 of my universe. It is also the limit state of most people. The universe is not too strenuous to cultivate, it only accounts for 1/10 of the origin. If so, Jian Wushuang would need to be embedded with thousands of black holes. It was 10 times stronger than the limit state, Wu Li said. Even if the power is different, the combat power is 100 times stronger. Jian Wushuang didn't feel that suffocating feeling. His own strength is not 100 times stronger than ordinary emperors. 1,000,000 times is said to be small. In front of him, no matter how many emperors are, they are also ants. The sword embryo he wants to build must at least have a gap of 108,000 times. 108,000. Jian Wushuang thought from the bottom of his heart. This number is good. If the sword embryo is inlaid with 108,000 black holes, plus 8,600 cosmic mysteries. Jian Wushuang grasped the outline. Watching Jian Wushuang fell into thinking, Wu Li talked about the casting gods. Speaking of this cast god, Shugua ranked first. Jian Wushuang agreed. He had heard from the beginning that it was also because of the flame god. For the cast god, the flame is the most needed. The kingdom of gods with infinite flames. This is naturally not lacking. Therefore, many talents will recognize Shiguozhu the gods more. Bacchus. Wu Li said a name. Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows, and he had also heard of this title. The pinnacle master in the Stone Kingdom, although not a member of the royal family, is a guest of the Stone royal family. The treatment is even better than those of the royal family. The strength of the 6 tribulations realm is comparable to the 7 tribulations realm. You know? Jian Wushuang asked curiously. When Wu Li heard that, he shook his head and teased herself. I was just a poor boy back then. If there are treasures, please move that person. Right. The original Wu Li was a casual cultivator. It's not bad to go to Yu country to find a casting master. How can you be qualified to let Bacchus take action? However, the existence that created the sword embryo for me is a disciple of Bacchus, a powerhouse of the Four Tribulations realm, and that's not bad. Wu Li said with some pride. He was not as cool as Jian Wushuang now. Not only the strength is against the sky, but the background is also very hard. It was stepping on the Wu family and entering the Yu royal family. Strong background and stronger strength. If you are willing to use the relationship between the royal family of Vietnam, Com may really be able to please that Bacchus. The Bacchus has stayed in the kingdom of God built by the flame god for many years. Then I thought about it. Jian Wushuang had just offended Hu Yi, who was extremely valued by the flame god. Feeling out of it again. If Fan Tianfeng had been careful, Jian Wushuang wouldn't even want to create a sword embryo from Shigua. It's over. Seeing Wu Li's expression, Jian Wushuang also thought that he had offended Fan Tianfeng. This time it was self-breaking. He also forgot this. Headache. On being careful. There are 10 people in Chishan Temple, and Fan Feng is the least minded. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.